lawyers better serve clients on the autism spectrum? In my last video, I discussed how attorneys and other professionals can better service clients with ADHD. In my experience, clients who share that they are on the autism spectrum tend to have a noticeably distinct set of communication preferences from ADHD clients, and these require additional sensitivity and adaptations on the lawyer's part. It should go without saying that there is no one single way to best communicate with a neurodivergent client. Like the rest of your clients, folks on the autism spectrum are individuals, each with their own unique preferences and pet peeves. But to get you started on what's hopefully the right foot, here are some tips to help you connect with and support your clients. First, create a comfortable environment. Ensure that meetings are in quiet, non-distracting settings. Avoid sensory overload by minimizing background noise, bright lights, and other potential distractions. And if your client requests a change, please do your best to roll with it if you can. One time, I had a brilliant client who was uncharacteristically agitated and having trouble focusing. And it turned out that a light was reflecting off something I was wearing in a way that was distressing to him. There was an easy fix, without any inappropriate removal of clothing, importantly. You don't need to do anything scandalous to accommodate. And then we were able to proceed with what proved to be an incredibly successful and productive meeting, and I knew to minimize any light reflections or glare for him in advance going forward. All right, number 2, use clear and direct language. Speak and write in clear, concise language. Avoid idioms, metaphors, and overly complex language that might be confusing. Now, I know that analogies and comparisons can be vital for helping many of your clients understand complicated topics and strategies. But be mindful and attentive if you try this approach with clients on the spectrum. And if you see after 1 or 2 attempts that it's generating more confusion than it resolves, drop it and stick to clearly articulated facts. Number 3, allow extra time for processing. Give your client extra time to process information and respond. Avoid rushing them and be patient with pauses in conversation. Pauses usually do not mean that your client has zoned out. More likely, he is deeply focused and thinking through the implications of what you just said. So you should be prepared for an insightful follow-up question. Number 4, provide written summaries. After any telephone, video call, or in-person meeting, provide a clear written summary of what was discussed, including key points and action items. This can help reinforce understanding. Now, live communication is not universally distressing for all people on the spectrum by any means, but it can be extremely anxiety-inducing for some, which makes it more difficult to absorb and retain the details of whatever is being discussed. For ADHD clients, brevity is your friend, but autism spectrum clients may appreciate more details. Number 5, offer multiple communication channels. Now, as I just mentioned, some clients on the spectrum may strongly prefer communicating via email or text rather than in person or over the phone. Whenever you can, respect their preferred method of communication. If, for example, a video conference is truly unavoidable in the context of a deal or a negotiation, explain to them why it is necessary, create a meeting agenda if circumstances permit, and suggest accommodations like maybe having them leave their camera off so they're on via audio only and having you take the lead on verbal communications. Number 6, structured meetings. Keep meetings structured and predictable, and your client interactions and routines as consistent as possible. Schedule meetings several days in advance and outline the agenda beforehand and stick to it, providing objectives and a clear beginning, middle, and end. Consistency and predictability will help reduce your client's anxiety. Number 7, encourage written feedback. Since your client may struggle with verbal communication, encourage them to provide feedback to you in writing. They might find it easier to express their thoughts and concerns this way. Number 8, conflict-free communication. So building on the last point, reassure your client that it's safe to express their needs and preferences. Emphasize that their feedback is valued. It helps you help them, which ultimately is what you both want. And constructive criticism or pointers won't lead to conflict. Number 9, active listening and validation. It can be distressing to someone on the spectrum when they believe that they aren't being heard or understood. So do your best to not let this spiral. You can show that you're actively listening by summarizing what your client has said and validating their feelings. For example, what I'm hearing is that X is important to you. Is that right? Let's figure out the best way to address it. And now, number 10, social stories. Social stories can help clients understand and navigate social interactions and professional expectations. These are simple, clear narratives that describe specific situations and appropriate responses. I'm thinking about the scenarios I discussed earlier, where there's a business negotiation to be made or a dispute to be mediated, and live interaction with a potentially hostile or aggressive party is unavoidable. It is a great use of your time and the client's legal dollars to explain in advance the social and interpersonal components of these types of business dealings. Now, some clients may have both ADHD and be on the autism spectrum. For these clients, a combination of diligently listening to their expressed needs and showing prudent judgment will help you to design a custom approach that utilizes tactics from this video and the one I just posted about ADHD to maximize success. By incorporating these strategies, you can create a supportive and understanding environment that helps your neurodivergent clients feel more comfortable and able to express their needs effectively, which in turn will let you provide the best professional services possible. Business owners, I want to hear from you. If you are on the autism spectrum, what can your lawyer do to serve you more effectively? Do you disagree with any of these tips? And if so, what approaches would you prefer?